So welcome everyone. This is our November 2021 public hearing and regular monthly meeting. It is now 6:07. We're going to go ahead and get started. First on our agenda for the public hearing, we have the NYC Department of Buildings providing a presentation on local law 152. For those that remember, we had another presentation earlier this year. Given that Bushwick is coming up to be under the local law within the beginning of 2022, we wanted to make sure that all property owners have ample time to prepare and are informed and have an opportunity to ask questions this evening. So Mr. Jones, whenever you're ready.
Good evening, all. My name is Chief Inspector Sean. Good evening. My name is Chief Inspector Sean Jones with the New York City Department of Buildings Plumbing Enforcement Unit. My unit is the responsible unit for the oversight of Local Law 152. We're the unit that deals with the public inquiries. We're the unit that review when you're needing assistance to verify if the necessary documentations was received by the department, and we're basically the unit that deals with any questions, concerns, inspection requests associated with Local Law 152. So at the end of the PowerPoint, you're going to have my contact information for those that may have questions or concerns. Feel free to ask questions as we go along throughout the presentation. Okay, so as you all know, Local Law 152 was introduced into City Council in 2016. New York City Department of Buildings did not enforce the law until January 1 of 2020. Okay, but then the original cycle was January 1, 2020 to December 31st of 2020. However, due to the unforeseen pandemic, the deadline was actually extended out to June 30th of 2021. Now we're in cycle number 2, which consists of a few new community boards, 2, 5, 7, 13, and 18. That cycle began on January 1 of 2021 and originally was slated to end December 31st of 2021. However, City Council just granted an extension on this second cycle. So the new deadline is June 30th of 2022. Okay, that's a very important milestone because, you know, I'm sure a lot of you might not be familiar or know that there was a recent extension granted. So I'm glad we're having this forum so we can get this information out today. Okay, with regards to Local Law 152, it requires that all buildings in New York City, with the exception of buildings classified as R3 occupancy group, which is typically a 1 or 2 family residential building, solely if you have any commercial, any storefront, any office space or anything like that within the building, you are required to comply with Local Law 152. If your building is a single family, if your building is a 1 or 2 family or 2 family, you do not have to comply. Okay, one of the biggest hurdles that we're encountering is the Department of Buildings classification opposed to the Department of Finance classification. So the way that we get over this particular hurdle is if your building has a certificate of occupancy and it indicates that your property is either a 1 or a 2 family, then that exempts you from the requirements of Local Law 152. If your building does not have a certificate of occupancy, then you can go to our website, our Department of Buildings website, and on the property profile, you'll see a Department of Finance indication. You can provide that. You can contact us, my unit, and we'll be happy to provide you with guidance and assistance to let you know whether or not your building is required to comply. Now, one of the issues with that is your property might be solely a 2 family, but unfortunately, you might be being taxed as a 3 family. My recommendation is, if that's the case, I strongly urge you to reach out to the Department of Finance, complete any necessary documentation so they can correct this information. Because if it says to us that you're a 3 family and you have no documentation to prove to us otherwise, unfortunately, your property is subject to complying with Local Law 152, and you must have the inspection done. Right, and the number one goal, and please understand that this is not a local law designed to create hardships or incur unnecessary costs to property owners, but the main focus is safety. Okay, gas piping systems, and we see it and we hear it every day. Oh, my gas piping system's been in my building for 60 years, 40 years, 50 years. 9 times out of 10, our piping system is not being properly maintained. There's not anyone checking to make sure that there's no leaks, no one checking on the integrity of the gas piping itself. And over the course of years, 60, 50 years or so, as anything else, it becomes old and begins to deteriorate, and potential problems exist when that happens. So city council decided, after it took a couple of unfortunate situations, a couple of explosions, the Second Avenue explosion in March of 2015, and the Park Avenue explosion in I think it was May of 2014. Excuse me, I'm not 100% sure on the dates right now, but within that less than a year time frame, we had 2 major explosions with several lives and several injuries that occurred due to gas related issues. So to prevent that, we're now requiring that an additional set of eyes look at this gas piping system once every 4 years. Okay, this is a safety matter, a very important matter, and it's good for everyone. Okay, so as I stated, buildings classified as part of the R3 occupancy group are exempt from local law 152. This classification includes most 1 or 2 family homes, convents, and monasteries with fewer than 20 occupants, group home community facilities, and 1 or 2 family buildings. All right, so if your property consists of any of these last things within this last bullet, then typically you will be exempt from the local law requirements. But again, you must verify that property classification. If you're not unsure, do not hesitate to contact the Department of Buildings. We are here to help you. Okay, inspection schedule. Okay, so as I initially stated, this first cycle began January 1 of 2020. It was slated to end December 31st of 2020. However, there was an extension granted that pushed that date out till June 30th of 2021. Now we're in cycle number 2, started January 1, 2021. It was originally slated to end December 31st of 2021. However, a recent extension was granted, pushes it out to June 30th of 2022. So that affects community boards 2, 5, 7, 13, and 18. And if you would like additional information associated with this, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the new rules. They're buried in here somewhere. I'm sorry, just with me. Okay, I'll get that. I'll provide that information in 1 second with the new rules that you can look up and review and gather additional information associated with the extensions and other changes that were made to the local laws. Okay, cycle 3 begins January 1 of 2022 and is slated to end December 31st of 2022. And that consists of community boards 4, 6, 8, 9, and 16 in all boroughs. Cycle number 4 begins January 1 of 2023, ends December 31st of 2023. And that's for community boards 11, 12, 14, 15, and 17. Okay, so as the law indicates, that no later than the due date, which for this current cycle will be June 30th, are you allowed to have your inspection done? However, we strongly encourage, if that date and time does come and surpasses, and you haven't done your inspection, I highly recommend that you do it as soon as possible to avoid any unnecessary penalties being levied against your property. Okay. Okay, so this is just some information where you can, community districts profiles, where you can go to the city planning website and put in your address, and it should let you know when your community district is due for an inspection. Okay, what does the local law inspection consist of? Local law 152 inspection consists of an inspection of all exposed gas piping, including gas piping that is open to view. It does not include gas piping above a drop ceiling or behind an access door, in a wall, in a ceiling, in a fire-rated enclosure, we're not requiring that you open things up to create additional hardships or additional costs to have these things corrected once the inspection is completed. So basically, all of your gas piping from the point of entry as it enters the building, where your meters are located at, if the meters are outside, inside, doesn't matter, that has to be inspected. If you have a boiler room, a mechanical room, a laundry room, or any other room that might house gas piping, if you have a commercial space and you have rooftop units, if you have a residential home, you have a barbecue grill, you have a pool heater with, depends on the building, you might have a pool, things of that nature, these things are required to be inspected. You are not required to have an inspection conducted within the tenant space. Okay, so a tenant space being your apartments. If you have a commercial space that has gas piping within it, they might have a mechanical room within that commercial space. Those locations are not required to be inspected. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Okay, so if your building does not contain a gas piping system, you're required. Okay, the law originally required that you hire a licensed registered architect or a licensed architect or a registered design engineer to certify that the building has no gas piping. With the new intros and the new rules that's been implemented, you're now allowed to utilize a licensed master plumber or his authorized representative to verify that condition. Okay, you're no longer just stuck to hiring a design professional to do this for you. Okay, so all gas pipe from point of entry of gas piping into the building, including building service meters and all gas piping in public spaces, hallways, corridors, mechanical and boiler rooms, inside and outside building, including rooftops, must be inspected. Include all rooms up to a tenant space containing a gas appliance. So as I said, if you have a mechanical room on each floor within your building and it's not within a tenant space, then that mechanical room has to be inspected. What they are going to do around the tenant space is the person that's performing the inspection is going to use a portable gas leak detecting system or a portable gas leak detecting device. And it has a probe, and they're going to probe around all of the doors within the building to make sure that there's not a potential gas leak within inside that apartment. If the probe gets a reading, then that person performing the inspection has obligations to contact the utility company. He's going to contact you as the owner, and he's going to contact the Department of Buildings to notify us of this condition. Okay? Equipment such as pressure regulator, regulator vents, valves, sleeves, point of entry seals, etc., should be inspected. What is not inspected during the LL152 inspection? Tenant spaces, there's no exception to that. Buried gas piping or concealed gas piping, it's not required to be inspected. Properties that presently do not have gas service or appliances connected to any gas piping, provide a signed statement from the utility company to verify, right? So let's say, for instance, as it's an everyday occurrence where there might be a potential leak or another hazardous condition that exists up in the building, or the building might be under a renovation process. They might be doing gas repipe. If that is the case right now, currently, and your building is soon to be up for expiration on the cycle, you can provide the documentation. You reach out to your utility company, either that be National Grid. Well, you're in Brooklyn, so that would be National Grid. You reach out to National Grid and request a documentation from them, a statement that indicates when your gas service was terminated.
I don't know.
And it would also indicate whether or not the gas was restored. If the gas is terminated at that time and your deadline is approaching, then you submit that documentation to the Department of Buildings. You'll see the email account at the end of this presentation where you can send that information to. Okay, but if the building has active gas piping or active gas piping system, you are required to comply with the inspection requirements unless you are R3 exempt. How to complete the inspection. Hire a licensed master plumber to inspect the building's gas piping system. Make sure that license is active by using the license search tool. Okay, the license search tool can be found on the New York City Department of Buildings website. All right, you may search a licensee by name, business name, or license number. Okay, now let me just tell you something. When you're out searching for these contractors to perform these inspections, not only do you want to verify that their license is active, but you also want to see proof or request proof that the person, if it's not the licensed master plumber performing the inspection, then his authorized delegate must have a certification. He's going to have a card from an authorized representative of the department that provided him training in order to conduct these inspections. Okay, you want to make sure that this is a qualified individual looking at your gas piping system. We don't want Joe the plumber from the neighborhood or Joe the handyman from the neighborhood looking at gas piping systems. We don't want Joe from the neighborhood working on gas piping systems. We don't want Joe from the neighborhood anywhere near your gas piping. Okay, that is extremely dangerous. You always want to deal with a licensed professional or a licensed professional company when you're dealing with gas or pretty much any plumbing related issues in New York City. Okay, you want a professional. You want someone that's certified in performing this work or performing these inspections. Okay, you can also review the disciplinary actions taken against a licensee by DOB or voluntary surrender records by using the Know Your Construction Professional tool, which you can also find on the New York City Department of Buildings website. Okay, in order for the inspection to be conducted successfully, the inspector must be provided full access to all tenant areas in order for the inspection to be certified as complete. If they are not able to gain access, the inspection must be repeated. Now, we've been encountering this quite often where we might have absentee landlord, or a building might not have a super, and you have an inspection scheduled, and certain areas within that building that houses gas piping is not accessible. That is a problem. It's a problem in the sense that your inspection is not going to be completed a proper way. And the second problem might be that you might get charged again for having to have the person come back out to reperform the inspection. So to avoid any of these things happening, let's make sure that all necessary areas have the necessary access in order for the inspector to conduct the inspection the appropriate way. Okay, once the inspection is completed, your licensed master plumber must submit a gas piping system periodic inspection report, also known as a GPS-1, to the owner or the owner's representative within 30 days of the inspection. Okay, so if you had an inspection done yesterday, you need to receive that documentation, the initial documentation, the GPS-1, from your licensee or his authorized representative no later than December 17th of 2021. Okay, if you have not yet received that, or if you don't receive within that time frame, you need to, for one, don't wait till the 30 days is coming to start reaching out. Reach out a little earlier, because you're paying for this documentation. So you want to get this documentation in hand as soon as possible, because there might be conditions that have to be corrected and you want to get a jump start on it. Okay, so if you don't receive that from that contractor within that allotted time, please notify the department so we can take the appropriate action. Also, within 60 days of the inspection, you, meaning you as the owner's representative, are required to submit the gas piping system periodic inspection certification, also known as the GPS-2, signed and sealed by the licensed master plumber who conducted or supervised the inspection, to the DOB. Okay, and there's only one way that can be submitted to the DOB, and that's through our certification submissions portal. Okay, now the portal requires that you have Google Chrome as your internet provider, as well as you're not allowed to upload. You have to data enter the information from the document, as well as upload a copy of the document, front and back. And the system will not take any document that has a bandwidth larger than 10 megabytes. So you might have to change the size of the document. You might have to take a picture of it and submit it as a PDF. You might have to play around with it, but please make sure that you submit it within a timely fashion. All right, correcting conditions. Unsafe and hazardous conditions such as a gas leak, illegal connection, or non-code compliant installation require immediate notification. So as I said earlier, things of this nature will be reported to the Department of Buildings, the utility company, as well, and yourself, the owner or the owner's representative, immediately. Immediately means while the inspector is still on site. The inspector is not allowed to leave the location and then report this, because if it's a leak, then there's precautions that has to be taken. And for all of those other conditions, the utility company has to come in, they have to verify, the inspector needs to be there to show them the conditions and things of that nature. Okay, so let's we have to work together and make sure that you're having an open line of communication with your contractor. Okay, if the gas piping system inspection certification submitted to DOB indicated that additional time was needed to correct the conditions identified during the gas piping system inspection, you must submit to the department or DOB within 180 days of the inspection a gas piping system periodic inspection certification, GPS-2, that indicates that you need additional time. That additional time, you're going to be allowed, technically you're allowed 180 days in total from the date of the original inspection, right? But let's say you had your inspection conducted in September. Now that there's been an extension granted, you now have until June 30th to have those conditions corrected and a document submitted to DOB showing that the corrections were made. Okay, we've granted, not only is the inspection date granted an extension, but also the date to make the necessary certification corrections has been granted an extension as well. All right, correction of conditions identified during the gas piping system inspection must be performed in compliance with the New York City construction codes, including obtaining any required permits. All right, so there's very minimum things that can be corrected during these inspections without a permit. One would be if you don't have the proper supports on the gas piping system, you don't need a permit for. Right? If you have something within the gas meter room, combustible materials within the gas meter room, you don't need a permit to remove those things. Anything that doesn't require the gas to be temporarily shut off in order to make a correction, then you don't need a permit for it. Okay, that's pretty much the gist of it. All right, anytime that the gas has to be shut to make whether it's a nipple change, a fitting change, a full length of pipe to be changed, whatever that may be, that gas has to be shut off and the utility company must be notified before it's done. A licensed master plumber or his authorized representative is not allowed to shut a gas meter with the exception of an emergency condition, and that emergency condition will be a gas leak. Anything else, they must notify the utility company for them to come and shut the gas off. Okay, and this is some additional tips and information. To access the portal, use Google Chrome and clear your cache. When uploading the GPS-2 form to the portal, the GPS-2 form must be a PDF. Refrain from uploading an image of the GPS-2 form. Images are too large and the portal will give an error message. Reach out to DOB to troubleshoot further technical issues when uploading GPS-2 form to the portal. DOB receives weekly generated reports of uploaded GPS-2 forms. We can check by address and only view submission dates. Inspections conducted by utility companies do not meet Local Law 152 requirements. Excuse me. So this is a popular situation right here. Right now, currently, both utility companies, Con Edison as well as National Grid, are also performing inspections on gas piping system. That inspection that they're performing is for the Public Service Commission, which governs them as the utility company. That has nothing to do with the Local Law 152 requirement. You are required to still have the Local Law 152 inspections conducted by a licensed master plumber or authorized representative. Okay, properties with certificate of occupancy dated after December 6th of 2016 will be exempt for 10 years. Once the 10 years expire, an inspection is required every 4 years thereafter. So let's say, for instance, where I'm at now, 280 Broadway. Let's say we just received our certificate of occupancy on December 6th of 2000 and let's say 19, before the law started. We received that certificate of occupancy on December 6, 2019. Our first inspection is not required to be conducted until December 6th of 2029. You're allowed 10 years for a new building. Okay, so once you do that first inspection within that first 10-year cycle, then you fall in line with your community district cycle. So even if your community district cycle starts in January 1 of 2030, then you have to do another inspection in between January 1, 2030 and December 31st of 2030. Okay? Inspection deadline extensions. Additional 180 days extensions is granted if owner is unable to obtain inspection, must submit GPS2 form requesting assistance. Excuse me. Okay, local law resources. Local law 152 of 2016 service notice. So we have service notices. You can search local law 152 on the Department of Buildings website, and it can provide you an extensive amount of information. We have a fact sheet that's approximately 4 to 6 pages long. I don't remember because it's constantly growing. For any questions or concerns, you can reach out to the Department of Buildings Plumbing Enforcement Hotline. This used to be our main line number, but now it's a hotline number. And that number is 212-393-2557. As well as you can reach us via our email account, which is ll152of16@buildings.nyc.gov. Okay, the Department of Buildings website is also listed here. To report exposed gas piping issues or gas leak or anything of that nature, my first recommendation, if you smell gas, call 911, as the fire department will arrive much faster than the utility company. And once they arrive, they will contact the utility company to come out for assistance. Okay, but these are the contact numbers to the respective utility companies. And that's it for me. Thank you. Anyone has any questions, concerns, comments?
All right, thank you.
Please mention the contact information again, if you could, please.
I'm sorry. There you go.
The contact information, can you please repeat that?
Okay, our telephone number is 212-393-2557. And understand that anyone, not only I, can help you, but anyone within my unit, any staff member that answers the phone can assist you with any questions or concerns that you may have associated with Local Law 152. Also, our email account is ll152, the word of, the number 16, @buildings.nyc.gov.
Hi, Sean, my name is Annette Spelling. One question, well, two, but the most important one, what is the estimated cost of the inspection?
The estimated cost of, hello?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to just get back into the PowerPoint. The estimated cost of the inspection varies based on a lot of different factors. Okay, honestly, unfortunately, there's no regulation or no regulatory mechanism in place. But I've heard on average from a 3-family, I've heard anywhere from $300 to $3,000 for a 3-family. So my recommendation with regards when you're searching for someone to perform the inspection for you, I like to use the at the minimum of 3 contractor rule. You call 3, you try to get a medium. Now, just because the person who charged you the highest don't mean that they're the best. That's because they charge you the lowest don't mean that they're the worst. It all depends on the individuals and the companies. But again, you can always also check. All New York City licensed contractors are required to register with the Better Business Bureau, right? And within the Better Business Bureau, they have report cards. So before you go to hire someone, you can know, like I said, you can check the Department of Buildings, know your contractor tool to verify if they had any disciplinary actions taken against them by the Department of Buildings. You can also check the Better Business Bureau to see their report cards, which is information provided by fellow customers as to the performance or the lack thereof of these individuals.
Okay, now for those of us in Community Board 4, can we start to have our inspections done now, or do we have to wait until after the beginning of the year?
So you have to have it done after the beginning. You have to do your inspection within your allotted cycle. You cannot do it before. You
Okay.
certainly are allowed to do it after if you miss your deadline. And we strongly suggest that you do it as soon as possible, but you're not allowed to start it before, as it won't be calculated within the proper cycle for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, this is Alicio. Can I ask a question, please?
Certainly.
On Community Board 4, there's no extension. It's from January 22nd to December 22nd.
Correct.
Now, when the lady asked the price, that I have seen people charge for 6 family units coming by with a gun, and they tell $1,000 just to look at that. No, that's
Understood.
not your problem.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Okay, I have had a couple of plumbers not come to my unit, but come to other units in our neighborhood, and they have said that just to walk in the door and start checking is $1,000 that they got to pay just for the inspection. This is for a 6 family unit, and then after that depends on what they find. And so far we have 3 people that have done it in the block on Culver Street, and they have found, which is not a problem finding, but they have found leaks that have never been found by Brooklyn Union Gas. Is there anything that you guys from your side can do to lower this cost, or it's always going to be $1,000? I have 2 6-family houses.
The cost is not always $1,000, as I just recently stated. It sounds to me as though you're taking the first. Huh? I said the cost varies. The cost varies.
Okay.
And again, as I stated, a minimum of estimates that you should receive is 3. So, but it sounds like you guys are just taking the first people on that's coming, and then you're locking yourself into that $1,000 cost or whatever the case may be. I've seen people perform. I've seen a company perform an inspection on a 20-family building for $1,000. So it varies. You have to do your research.
Yeah. But those are the names that we need. Those people that
unfortunately, I can't. The Department of Buildings is not at liberty to provide that type of information, as we oversee the work of contractors. So we can't. It's a conflict of interest for me to say, go use Sean Jones Plumbing and Heating to do these inspections. It's like I'm getting a kickback or something, and that's not. Not the case. So we can't do that.
Okay, my question has been answered. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. I have a comment, Joshua Brown. I just want to verify once again, if you have a 1-family or a 2-family, you're exempt from this, right? This only applies to 3 families and mixed use properties, correct?
3 families and above and mixed use, correct.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public that's on here?
Hello, hi. I have one more question, Tanisha. I just wanted to confirm, where can you get the certificate of occupancy for?
So the certificate of occupancy is normally within your property profile on the Department of Buildings website.
Okay. Is that like Acris? Is that what you mean?
You can also verify that information on Acris also, but Acris is HPD's website, Housing Preservation and Development. The certificate of occupancy would be on the New York City Department of Buildings website. Once you go to our buildings information, once you go into our website, you're going to find our buildings information system. You're going to type in your address, and then your property profile is going to display. And to the right, under your address on the page, you're going to see a highlighted icon for that says certificate of occupancy. You can click on it. It might be there. It might not be there.
And if it's not there, what's done next?
If it's not there, then you scroll further down and you look for the Department of Finance classification. The Department of Finance has, their classification is different from what the Department of Buildings shows, but there's specific classifications that coincides with the R3 occupancy group.
Okay. So my next question, so if the Department of Finance classification is that it's a higher family amount than it is maybe with the Department of Buildings, but let's say you can't find a certificate of occupancy on your website, what would you do? That we'd have to go with the Department of Finance classification, or is there a way to fix that or figure out a certificate?
So my recommendation for that is if you purchased your home as a two-family and it still exists as a two-family, but the Department of Finance might have your classification listed as C-0, which is a three-family in their eyes. That's what they're taxing you as. If your property is a two-family, then you need to get to the Department of Finance as soon as possible and have that corrected. Now, what happens is now for your cycle, right? Your cycle, all of you for the most part are CB4. So your cycle doesn't begin until January. So my recommendation is that you start looking into these things now, be a little proactive now to verify these conditions. So you have a whole year to have the inspection done. You don't have to have the inspection done on January 1. You have to have it done between January 1 and the last day that you can have the inspection done is December 31st. So you will have to have the inspection done on December 31st and have that documentation submitted to us by December 31st. But that gives you a great deal of time to do all the necessary research to verify whether or not you have to comply or not.
Okay, thank you.
I want to say, Tanisha, to your question, this is Joshua Brown. I work in the real estate space. So how this works is you're going to go to the Department of Buildings, downtown Brooklyn, and tell them you want a letter of no objection, which is a document stating that your house is a legal two or one family. So you would get something that's called a letter of no objection from Gerolamo Street downtown.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct, but don't understand that you're not just going to walk in there and just say, I need a letter of no objection. You have to prove to us that property is what you state it is. So you're going to provide us with a copy of the deed, the bill of sale. There's documentation that you're going to have to provide. We're not just going to go and, it just doesn't work off of word of mouth. We have to know for sure, because again, it's a reason as to why the Department of Finance is classifying your building as a three-family opposed to the one or two. Maybe there was illegal occupancy at some point in time. They do surveys. They walk around the properties and they look for certain things, right? So let's say if your building is supposed to be a one family and they walk by and they see 2 electric meters or 2 gas meters or multiple doorbells, things like this, or a 2 mailboxes, things like this raises red flags. So it's not just a walk in the park as to you just go to, 210 Gerolamo and say, I'm here for a letter of no objection. You have to have the necessary documentation available with you to prove that your property is what you're stating it is.
I have one more question. So in case, what if a property at some point before its last sale was like someone was trying to turn it into another family, like they started the process, but they never finished it? So it's being reported as the wrong family amount. Which one do you guys usually go with? The process was never finished with the Department of Buildings.
Excuse me. So in a case like that, right? So you're going to go to the Department of Buildings. You're going to ask for that letter of no objection, right? And we're going to look in the system, and we might see that you have an application that you're looking to convert this property from a 1-family to a 3-family, right? Let's say, for instance. Now, there's no inspection history. There's no, the permit is expired by limitation. There's no activity on the permit for a duration of time. At that point in time, the borough commissioner's office is going to request an inspection from a construction unit or someone to verify what it is that you're stating. So someone's going to come out, they're going to walk the property. And when we walk the property, again, this is the same as if you're doing a local, we need access to everything. We need access to this basement. We need access to the cellar. If you have an attic, we need to see that. We need to see every possible location to verify and assist you to make the determination so you can get that letter of no objection.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a lot of information. That was good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Celeste, are you on?
I am. So I was just about to ask for final comments. I don't see, oh, we do have one in the chat from the public. So
Thanks,
what if
Joshua,
the DOB,
also.
oh, all right.
Sorry.
What if the DOB classifies the building as a 2-family, but the landlord is renting it as 4 separate units?
Can you want to give me that address now?
Yeah.
No,
Somebody's in trouble.
No, you could write it in the chat. We won't see it.
No.
No, in all honesty, right now, this is not something that we're happy of, but unfortunately, we can't require you to perform an inspection based on the illegal occupancies. Your building is legally classified as a 2-family, then technically you would be exempt.
Okay. And I have a question as well. This is Martha Brown. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Martha Brown. Now, I would assume that if you have a deed, doesn't your deed list how many families are in your house for your property?
Yeah, so this is documentation that you would take to either the Department of Finance to get them correct your taxation issues, or to the Department of Buildings to obtain a letter of no objection.
Okay, very good. All right, that's all I needed to know.
Documentation. I'm
yes,
sorry?
as long as you have your deed, and it lists the amount of units or the amount of occupants or how many floors, then I would assume you take your deed with you. And
Correct.
Also to get a no objection letter. Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And just another key thing, right? A lot of people don't know this is, so a building is not classified as a multi-dwelling until it's more than 3 families, right? HPD is responsible for the oversight of maintenance and things of that nature for multi-dwellings. So if you was to go to ACRIS, which is HPD's information search tool, if you put your property address in and it doesn't display, then guess what? Your property 9 times out of 10 is a legal 1 or 2 family, and you're exempt.
Okay.
That's one of the easiest, but you have to keep in mind though, that's not the end all say all, right? So now that you have that documentation from, or that proof from ACRIS that, we don't populate an HPD system, you have us classified as a CO, we have this deed that indicates we're a 2-family. Now I can go to DOB and get my letter of no objection. Now I can go to Department of Finance and get my property classified as the appropriate.
Right. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Celeste, we're moving on. Thank you. Thank you for
the information. Thank you. Very valuable information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. That will conclude.
You all now have my contact information, so don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for assistance. We're not here to hurt. We're here to help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And just a point of clarification, ACRIS stands for Automated City Register Information System. I did drop a link in the chat for those that need it. So we'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, Mr. Jones, for joining us. Valuable information as the folks that own homes in our neighborhood get prepared for this requirement come January. We will now move on to our second public hearing item. We have Andy Inglesby, and a colleague from New York City Transit, MTA, regarding the upcoming Myrtle Avenue Rehabilitation Project. This is for the elevated subway. Andy?
Yes, hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, Andy, how are you, Ann?
Good
Hope
morning.
you're safe.
Hey, everyone. Hope everyone is well and safe.
Yes.
As always, it's a pleasure to be here at CB4, even if it's virtual. I'm joined by my colleague, Batista Zito, who is the project manager for this project. As Celeste mentioned, MTA is currently doing the overcoat painting and steel repair of the M line. We are currently in Queens. We are headed to Brooklyn. But so we wanted to come today and just give you guys a little bit of an update before we get to Brooklyn, because we have done some work in Brooklyn as far as the structural steel. We'll be more than happy to come to you guys in the early part of next year, in the middle part of next year, as the work progresses, and we get to Brooklyn, and you guys will be seeing us more and more. But as far as an overview, this project consists of overcoat painting, which is scraping and cleaning and painting the M line between Brooklyn and Queens. We will be going to Myrtle Avenue, Broadway, and we'll be starting in Brooklyn, right at the Myrtle Wyckoff station. As far as steel repair is concerned, that part is fabricating, cutting, and repairing approximately 276 defects along the line. And that will ensure long-term structural stability. We're also doing some column bases, and that's excavating and repairing support structure of 21 column bases throughout the M train line. So the good news is that we have completed all of the steel repairs in Brooklyn. You guys might have seen us out there already in various parts of Brooklyn. So we've done the steel repairs in Brooklyn already. The overcoat painting is still to come. That's going to consist of two parts. Basically in late February or early March, you'll see us start to go out there. We're going to be starting, as I said, right by the Myrtle Wyckoff station. And in February and March, we're going to be starting on 500 feet of into Brooklyn. We're going to be installing decking and prepping for the painting. We're going to be doing this in 50-foot parts at a time. So basically, you'll see us on a block or two for about a week or so. And then once we're finished with that, we'll be moving on. We're going to be working with DOT as far as flagging. It will require some parking lots, but it's only going to be temporary. We'll only be there for about a week or so, as I said, at each 50-foot section. Once we're done, we're going to move on. And as I said, this is going to take place in February and March. It's going to be prep work. We're going to be putting some overhead decking on the line. Once we're finished with the decking, you won't see us. It's not going to be blocking any traffic. It'll be decking, as I said, and that's prepping for the actual paint work, which right now we're currently scheduled to start in Brooklyn in the summer of 2022. As you know, we are currently in Queens. The project has been delayed a little bit because of COVID issues, a couple of other issues, but we are progressing. And right now we're looking to start the paint job in Brooklyn in the summer of 2022. As I said, that's going to span from Myrtle Wyckoff Station down to Myrtle Broadway. And, we're looking forward, the structural steel looks a lot better. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but the steel repairs have made the line look a lot better. We've done some column repairs. And obviously, once we put a fresh coat of paint on the structure, we'll be very happy to give you guys a new overcoat painting for the M line. That's where we are now. As I said, we'll be more than happy to come back and brief the community board, the elected officials, once we get into February, March with the actual specific streets that we're looking to work on. I'll give you guys a detailed schedule on that once it happens. And yeah, I mean, as I said, we'll update you guys on a regular basis. I know that you guys have been anxious for this project, and you know, we're excited to be able to do it so we can make the M line look a lot better for you guys. So that's where we are right now. And I turn it back to Chair Camacho and District Manager Celeste Leon.
Yeah, I'm just a little, you know, I'm glad that that we're coming here, we're cleaning up our place, and it's gonna look really nice. I'm just shocked that it didn't start here. You know, I went to Queens. You know, sometimes Brooklyn get a little jealous when you go work someplace else, and then, you know. But we understand. We'll give you a free ride this time. Next time we go get you. Next time maybe you can start on ours first, and then, cause you know, Queens don't normally get that much love. You know, we get a lot of love, so we want to make sure you come here and take care of us. Cause we always getting heat. We always getting heat from all these stores and the restaurants saying that the chip is painting, this place looks terrible. So we want to make sure that people can come here, that it's nice and clean and painted and everything is good, that you're doing your job. And I just want to thank you, because I know you took a lot of hate from us. So
yeah, believe me, if it was up to me, Brooklyn would be first all the time. You know that. But but we're really anxious, and you know, we know the community is anxious to get it started. As I said, you know, we normally would have been, you know, we really were hit hard with COVID staffing issues on this, but this was one of the projects that was really hit hard. But I just, you know, I'm glad I'm here tonight to you know, make the community assured that we are still doing it, and you know, we're moving along, and you know, you guys will see us in Brooklyn soon.
thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Anyone concerns, issues?
I have a question. Will the M line service be valid while they're doing the work?
No, we're not expecting any major diversions during this. It's basically, you know, the same kind of work schedule that you've seen if you've been to Queens, and you've seen it. So, you know, if there's any diversions along the M line during this, it's not really because of this project. So
Okay.
we'll keep you updated.
Okay.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Anyone from the public that's on here? You can put anything on the chat. I will answer. Anyone from the public?
We don't see, there's nothing in the chat or the Q&A on this. So, but if we get something later, we will happily pass it along to Andy. And I just want to say thank you. We got to thank you in the chat for the update.
Yeah,
Thank you, Andy.
Oh,
no
Sammy, do you
problem.
have something?
We're happy to, you know, you know, perform this important capital work for CB4 as always. And as I said, we'll update you guys as we move forward, and we have more specifics as far as, you know, where exactly we'll be. That'll be early next year.
Like cantaloupe and elk and fog.
Sammy, did you have something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Andy is the right contact, but now that we're talking about renovations in the subway, whether they know about the opening of the second entrances that are closed, whether MTA has considered, is there any plan for reopening those closed entrances? That also, it has to relate to accessibility.
Sure, we need to look at each one specifically though, because I mean, there's certain some stations, as you know, have been their secondary entrances have been closed for many years. But we have to look at each station on a specifically which one you guys are talking about, because there are some ADA triggers that might come from that under federal law. So we have to look at each one and see what exactly we're talking about as far as reopening the station entrances. And if it would trigger an ADA issue, then we would have to, you know, look at it more closely as far as, you know, trying to get that into the capital program. So.
Okay.
Someone put in the chat, what color would you what color will the overcoat be? I think it's green, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much what Zito, were you on?
It's
Can
green.
you answer that question?
It's
What
gonna
color?
be green. It's forest green. the same color
Forest
throughout the
green.
whole system. Yes, correct.
Yeah, forest green,
Okay.
the money, right? The money color?
Money green. Money green. And bring
Okay. Okay.
All right. So yeah, thank you, everyone. If there are no other comments or questions, we will certainly follow up in the future. And thank you, Andy and Zito, for being here.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, guys. Be well,
You're
safe.
welcome.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank
Be
you.
well, everyone. Thanksgiving.
Thank
Happy
you.
one. Have a happy
Likewise.
one, you too.
Be well and
Thank you.
safe.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right. So that will now close out our public hearing portion for this evening. We're going to go right into our regular meeting, starting with our first roll call. I'm just double check the chat just to make sure, excuse me, the panelists tab to make sure I have everyone. If I missed you, it's not intentional. I will absolutely double check again once I get through the list. Board members, please be ready to unmute. And if you're on the phone, *6 will allow you to unmute. Marcus Alston. Reverend Grace Aites. Joanna Bennett. Joshua Brown. Martha Brown.
I think
Present.
Joshua Brown was on there.
Okay, yep. Folks have to respond.
You
Otherwise,
gotta
I can't-
respond. You
Present.
gotta
Yeah, I'm
respond,
here.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Raul Brown.
Present.
Robert Camacho.
Present.
Cartier Caphart.
Present.
Melissa Carrera. Felix Ceballos.
Present.
Andrew Choi.
Present.
Luisa Chan is excused. Daniela Davi.
Present.
Alvina Davis is excused. Carlos Feliciano. James Fitzgerald.
Present.
Freddie Fowler.
Present.
Igati Gomez.
Present.
Christopher Graham. Ann Guiney.
Present.
Jose Guzman.
Present.
Adia Harrison. Jared Hicks. Tanisha Honeygan.
Present.
Thank you. Barbara Jackson.
Present.
Kristen Jock. Cheryl Jones. Virgie Jones.
Present.
Luisa Jose. Andy Marte.
Present.
Oh, got you. Mary McClellan. Imani Mitchell.
Present.
Desmond Monroe.
Present.
Sammy Namir Olivares.
Present.
Kyle O'Rourke.
Present.
Uma Navoa. Asaya Polite.
Present.
Gladys Pulia.
Present.
Got it. Raul Rubio.
Present.
Eliseo Ruiz. Bernadine Rochelle is excused. Barbara Smith.
Present.
Dustin Sonborn. Annette Spellin.
Present. Sorry.
Oh, got you, Dustin. Got you, Annette.
Find the mute
Leo
button.
Teneo.
Present.
Jerry Valentine.
Present.
Carlotta Williams.
Present.
Oldorf Wright. Frank Zimmerman.
Present.
Oh, gotcha. All right, let me just double check. I did see Mary earlier, although I didn't hear Mary. Give me one-
Yeah, she couldn't get on till
She
last.
couldn't get on. She
She's
couldn't
here.
talk.
She's
Yeah.
here. She's here
Okay.
though. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see if she can unmute. I'm asking her to unmute now.
And Veronica Shep just got admitted in the hospital.
Yeah, she's excused. She called us.
No, she got admitted.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
Oh,
She had a bad asthma attack.
oh no. Okay.
Yeah, and Eliseo Ruiz was on, but he's in Whitehall because I think his son broke his leg or hurt his ankle playing in the gym.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll
Oh
mark
my
him.
God.
Yeah, he let us know. I marked
He's in
him as
Whitehall Hospital now. Yeah,
okay.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna do
goodness.
the count. Just give me one moment.
I think it's 29, Celeste. Contested quorum. I had 29.
Okay, if you got it, so then 29
Yes,
will
ma'am,
lose
it's
it.
20, yes, and it's
That
great that we
constitutes a
have
quorum.
29, that's right,
So
we have
thank you
29.
so much. Let's go ahead and move on. Thank you to all the board members.
Yeah.
All right, we'll now move on to the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board?
I make a motion, Barbara Smith, to accept the agenda as is.
Is there a second?
Andrew Choi, second.
Andrew Choi, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Agenda item number 3, acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion from the board?
Martha Brown, make a motion to accept the previous minutes and make corrections whenever necessary.
Is there
Raul Rubio, second.
Everyone at the same time. I'm gonna go with Annette. I heard Annette first. Annette seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. All right. Agenda item number 4, our chairperson's report. Mr. Camacho.
I want to thank everyone. Thank you for creating a beautiful quorum, 29. It's pretty good. I think I'm doing great. We need everybody to participate. Everybody's got to get involved, especially now. I want everybody to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday because I know it's going to be a lot of people on this side of Bush have been asking me, and I know Barbara Smith for turkeys or any food. We really got to try to help our people somehow. I don't know how we can do it. I know I didn't get any from anyone. I haven't received, and people have been asking me. So it's been a rough journey, man. It's kind of disheartening, but hopefully we're going to come out of this, all of us together. We're all going to see each other, and we're going to embrace each other again. So hopefully it's been rough, and we really got to get together, make sure we all stay safe. And whoever wants to get their shots, get it. Whoever don't want to get it, don't get it, but cover yourself and protect yourself and make sure you take care of your loved ones. Because, Bushwick been hit hard, so we got to be love our neighbors and take care of ourselves. On October 21st, Thursday, town hall meeting, sanitation work group from 6:30 to 7:30. It was great. I would like to thank the people from the working group and also the people that are volunteering and cleaning up. Bushwick Initiative, they've been doing a great job, man. No pay, no nothing. Their heart is out there to try to clean our community. And, they're out there all the time. So I want to thank them, man, because it's not easy. You clean a block and 5 minutes later, it's like you didn't do anything. So I don't know how, I don't know how they can do it. I really don't, but they take pride in what they do, and I want to thank them. If they're on here, I don't know if she is the organizer. I'm not too sure if she is, but I just want to thank her and the people volunteering to help clean Bushwick up. October 25th, on Monday, Transportation Sanitation Parks Committee met. On October 26th, Tuesday, the House and Land Use Committee met at 6 p.m. November 2nd, Tuesday at 11:30, the Hope Garden. We met with employees and the staff, and HR came down in regards to some of the concerns with HR, with issues with employment, and some of the employees there. It turned out pretty good. Hopefully, I haven't catch up. That was November 2nd. I haven't seen any of the employees. Hopefully, they'll see me out there and tell me how has it been working. Have they been working with us? Are they doing what they have to do, or are they doing what they have to do to take care of our tenants? November 3rd, on a Wednesday at 12:15, I went to the A3 precinct. There's an advisory community council. This borough, 1PP is creating it. I'm part, Barbara Smith is part, a couple of people from the community are part of this advisory, and we'll sit down and address some of the issues in regards to the community's needs, PD's needs, to work together and collaborate. So we just met last month, so hopefully we'll be meeting again this month. I don't know when. The captain should be on here in a little while because someone's, I think it's Cotton said he'll be here. So I think he was on here a little while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the 3rd was the Wednesday, the 3rd was also 6 o'clock, the executive board. At the same time, I know y'all heard me being quiet. I was also on the borough board's meeting. I was doing 2 meetings. I don't know how I did it. I did one on the phone and one on the thing. I really don't know how I did it, but it worked out. Whatever it was, it worked out. And I just wanted to get some information in regards to the health amendment that was on there passed with the gyms or whatever it was that they want to do with amendments. And also the open law is now and goes to city council. A lot of people, I'm just gonna reflect on the vote. There were 5 no, they didn't want. There were 10 yes with abstentions, with amendments to the thing. I think I will submit a copy of the amendments, or the borough board president, I think, send it to me. I just ain't make copies of it because they sent it in an email, so I haven't gone to the board office. I'm gonna submit copies, and 3 of them were abstentions. So hopefully it didn't pass the way it's supposed to, but there are amendments to the open a restaurant. So it's much more than what it is. I know there's a lawsuit pending. A lot of people in a lot of community boards don't want it. Manhattan, Brooklyn, we know it was covert. Not only because of that, they don't want to continue to changing of the zonings and giving away our land for restaurants, when now per the square footage that they get, they can charge them more rent eventually, because now that's part of their rent thing. So I don't know how they're gonna do it. How is it gonna work? I also we don't know. We hope that it I don't know. It doesn't, but a lot of people complaining of rodents and garbage, syringes, needles, drugs, people sleeping in them things. So some of them don't look good. Some of them, Manhattan, compared to Manhattan, some of those sheds compared to here, I don't know, man. Totally opposite. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. November 4th, the sanitation work group, they gave 280 tickets. 280 tickets for dirty sidewalks on Myrtle Avenue. 18 inches over the curb, 28, and 119 moving, they never move, Ultimate Street or Double Park. 119 and 39 dirty sidewalks and 18 inch, because they're supposed to clean 18 inches from the curb, they gave 28 tickets. So that's they're doing what they have to do to make sure that Bushwick stay clean, and we can keep it clean. November 5th, Friday, we met with RAD in regard to the Hope Garden. There's still situations. Hopefully, there's got to be a time when we got to say something's got to get done. We're going to speak with the Congresswoman and find out what's going on. We still have buildings that the boilers are down. They got temporary boilers because of the flood. We still got people that some of the walls are separating at 339 Wyckoff, Wilson Avenue. Some of the apartments, the wall is separating from the roof and it's getting cold and water's coming in through. Some of the tenants got to move out. There's still a lot of issues in Hope Gardens that need to be addressed. On November 5th, Friday at 1 p.m., the Coalition Hispanic Family Services meeting we had with CB4. Celeste will fill you in because we talked to her. On November 8th, Monday at 5:30, the CEC, IS 377, District 32, DOE, somebody put out something that they were trying to take over space, but we found out that the charter school, I guess, don't have the X amount of numbers, and IS 377 wants to get the space back. So hopefully they'll get their space back, because they might need more room. So hopefully we're pushing for them to continue 377 and get their space. Maybe our chair from Education Committee will get more information or fill it in. They said they needed the space. November 9th, Tuesday, economic CB4 economic permits and license. November 10th, Wednesday at 10:30, CB4 district service cabinet meeting. All city agencies come to the cabinet meetings. Y'all should get involved. All of them, they're all there. It's wonderful that they come all the time and they give us services and they're on the ball. November 10th, Wednesday, 6 p.m., CB4 Health, Human Services on the 16th of Tuesday at 6 p.m. CEC. Contractual for excellence. District 32 got 100% funding based on enrollment and the students and their needs. Our schools, they go based on how many kids you got. Now we're getting 100% for all our kids in school money. So there is money in our schools for the Bushwick, all our schools, high schools, and we're getting 100% funding. Because back there was a certain percentage that each kid would have get, but now we're getting 100%. As of November 17th, Wednesday, today the 8th Precinct Council meeting and CB4. And I think that is the end. Any
Council.
Right. The 8-3 Clergy Council, yes, at 10 p.m. today. And now today CB4. Yep. Thank you. And any questions, any concern?
Going once?
Going twice?
All right.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Camacho.
Thank you, Celeste.
All right, while we were listening to the report, I did make a short list of some of our elected official representatives for them to introduce themselves now. A friendly reminder, just name and contact information only. There will be an announcements portion later in the meeting. Starting with Evelyn from Congresswoman Velasquez's office. You should be able to unmute.
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm trying to figure out the video, so I'll do that in a little bit. But it's Evelyn Cruz, District Director for Congresswoman Velasquez. Our phone number is 718-599-3658. And we're located at 266 Broadway in Williamsburg. And I'll gladly post it on the chat. And as you know, Julio is no longer with us. And so you have me for a little while. He went on to do medical school, so hopefully, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jackie.
It's so great to be back this month again. Just again, I'm Jackie Reyes from Assemblymember Delonzo. Sorry, getting some feedback. 1 second. Sorry about that. Again, I'm Jackie Reyes from Assemblymember Delon's office. Our office is located at 366 Cornelia Street, and you can reach me at 718-386-4576. We are still only seeing people by appointments only, so please call if you need to see me, okay? Also, really quickly, I know announcements are later on, but I have a really quick and important one. I finally got some new staff in the office that I would like to introduce. Miss Pamela Fernandez has joined our office. Okay. Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you.
Hey.
And Pamela will very likely be the one covering the meetings in the future. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you both. All right. Next, I have Jonathan.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Jonathan from District Attorney Eric Gonzalez's office. Our offices are located at 350 J Street, and I could be reached at 718-250-2817. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Sonia, Councilmember Diaz's office. Are you there, Sonia? All right. If for whatever reason we missed you, we can always come back. I also have Mamadou from the mayor's office.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Mamadou Sidaba, in the Community Affairs Unit at the Mayor's Office. It's a pleasure to be on and to hear everyone's wonderful voices and see all your faces. I'll leave my contact info in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Michael. Councilmember-elect Nurse's office.
Hi, everybody. I hope that you can all hear me. My name is Michael. I work under Sandy Nurse, and I am available at michael@sandyforcouncil.com, or my phone number. I'll say it slowly. If everybody's ready, it's 929-375-8963. I'll 929-375-8963.
Thank you. And Marcus?
Good evening, everyone. Marcus Harris here from the Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams' office. We're located at 209 Geralman Street, downtown Brooklyn. Main number is 718-802-3700. My direct number is 718-802-3909, which also forwards to my cell phone. I'll put all the information in chat, but good to see everyone.
So Marcus, you ain't going nowhere, are you? I'm gonna keep bothering you with that the last day. Don't worry about it.
Camacho, I'll talk to you later.
No, I'm gonna keep. Come December, I'm gonna get an answer some way, somehow. I don't know where, but you're gonna tell all of us, not only me. I don't know where is it, but we need to hear from you.
You got me, and I'm on Green Avenue, so hey.
No, I know where you at. I could go visit you.
Very local.
All right. Thank you. Thank you to our elected official representatives for joining us this evening. We'll now move on to our agency and community-based organization representatives. So I know Ariela is here. If you would like to introduce yourself, name and contact info.
Hi, it's Ariella from the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence, case manager, community organizer, and I'll drop my contact in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you. And if I've missed anyone, again, it's not intentional. I just may not know that you're here. Feel free to leave your info in the chat and there will be another opportunity to speak a little bit later. And now we'll move on with the agenda to our 8-3 precinct report. We have Captain Claxton with us this evening. Captain.
Good evening, everyone. I am Captain Sean Claxton. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Captain Sean Claxton, Executive Officer here in the 83rd Precinct. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. I'll first start off with our crime, how we're looking within the 28-day period. We're down on basically all of our index crimes. Actually, I would say 6 out of the 7. We're down in felonious assaults for this year, 19 versus 20 of 20 last year. That's down 1 for a total of 5%. We're down in burglaries, 19 versus 35, which is a decrease of 45.7%. We're down in grand larceny. Well, not really down. We're kind of at an equilibrium, 52 versus 52. With grand larcenies and grand larceny autos, we're down 14 versus 18 for a decrease in 22%. One area that we are up and that we are working on getting down is robberies for the 28-day period. We're up 27 versus 19 for the 28-day period. Upon a little closer examination, what's driving our robberies is the individual shoplifting. Well, it begins as shoplifting, and as the security guards or the store owners, clerks stop these individuals, they use force, and that gets classified as a robbery, and that's driving us this 28-day period, especially along Broadway Avenue. We're up about five robberies in that area, but overall, we're looking good for the 28-day period, and that's reflective on the year-to-date numbers. One thing I did want to address to the Bushwick residents is that we have been seeing an increase in car break-ins. So if anyone, if you're leaving valuable items inside of your vehicle, we highly encourage you to take them out. Don't have them visible for people to walk by and see and end up breaking into the vehicles. We're having a little issue with that, and we're targeting those areas that we see an influx of that happening in. We're targeting those areas with an increased level of policing, a presence in those areas. I also wanted to address scooters. That's been a big deal. We had some initiatives with illegal scooters, people operating the e-bikes, but I would say most individuals, they're not aware of what's legal and what's not, what's street legal and what's not. I would say to sum it all up, if it has pedals, whether it can be operated off of electric or not, if it has pedals, it's good. It doesn't have to be registered with the local DMV office. If it has no pedals and it's operating on gas or even electric with no pedals, more than likely it needs to be registered with the DMV. So I highly encourage the residents in Bushwick to register your vehicles, even in case it's misplaced or stolen. You want it to be registered, that if we find it at a later date, we can get it back to you. And there's more information. We have more information on our Twitter website. Feel free to stop in and take a look at our Twitter pages. We have information on traffic related enforcement as well. Anyone have any questions, concerns, comments for me? Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing I also wanted to mention. We do have also graffiti initiatives within the precinct. We have officers coming out to paint over walls with graffiti on it. If you wake up one morning and you see this graffiti on your property, please reach out to us. We have the resources that we have special neighborhood coordination officers within certain sectors, and they're going out and they're painting over walls with graffiti on it, and that's beneficial to the community. So please reach out to us in regards. Any questions?
No, thank you, Captain. Appreciate everything you're doing for us, and
Thank you for having me.
If anybody has any questions, any concern, anything, please let us know. They want to work with us. They want to make sure that they serve the community. So whatever concerns you guys may have, and if you have an issue and you don't want to say, we can sit down and we can talk to them and do it in the side, because a lot of times people don't want to say situations and things when they are on there, because we don't know who can be on there. So hopefully, if there's anything, y'all can run it by me or Barbara or anyone there, and then we'll get the information. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Les, you ready?
All right. Yep. So that will conclude this portion of the meeting. We'll move on with our agenda. Now we'll move to the district manager's report. That's my report. And one moment. So good evening, everyone, and happy belated Veterans Day to all former and current military service members in Bushwick. As we know, after the recent election, this coming January, Bushwick and the city at large will welcome a new mayoral administration and many new council members. We look forward to working with everyone in their new roles. So both incoming and folks that we already know that work in the neighborhood. I'd also like to introduce and welcome Kim Maldonado, Community Board 4's new community liaison. Kim, if you want to say hello to everyone, just introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on this meeting. Thank you for having me. Hopefully sometime soon we can all gather in the office space. And yeah, I'm just glad to be on this call. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. And I just also want to say we have some exciting projects underway in partnership with the board's committees and within the board's office. I encourage you to get more involved if there's a particular area of interest that you may have. There's always something that we're working on. In terms of the board's office, you may remember last month's meeting, I mentioned the Statement of Community District Needs Surveys. It's a first-time effort that we've undertaken to help engage the community and hopefully build on the feedback that we receive regarding the needs of the neighborhood. I will be speaking a little bit later about how we're doing this and the support that we have from the Fund for the City of New York. But we're really excited to see this happen. And I just want to give a shout out to some of our board members, to Sammy Namir, to Jose Guzman, and also to El Puente for their assistance with the Spanish translation. We understand that not everybody is online, and even if they are, they may not have access to a computer. And so we really wanted to make sure that we can meet folks in the neighborhood where they're at. Also a shout out to Riseboro. We're partnering with them, going to our local senior residences and centers to hold a pop-up to help the folks that are there also input their information and get feedback from them. Ultimately, these surveys will be used to create a report that everyone will be able to review. And this is really just the beginning. This is the first report that we'll produce like this, and we hope to build on it. And we absolutely encourage everyone here to take a look and get more involved. And I'll drop a link in the chat after I finish my report for those that haven't filled out the surveys. And I'd also like to say thank you to Mr. Camacho, to the committee chairpersons and the board for your support and your efforts on behalf of Bushwick in general. I'm also very happy to inform you that my recent merit increase was processed without issue. So thank you, everyone. And yes,
Great,
thank you.
that's great, that's great.
Fantastic.
We did it. Thank you so much. And I will summarize my meetings as usual, since Mr. Camacho and I do attend many of the same ones. On Thursday, October 21st, I did have our first virtual meeting with Michaela Brochetti, our new fellow from the Fund for the City of New York. Almost every year, the fund will reach out and ask if there are any projects that the board would like to have a fellow work on or help with. We have to submit an application. We have to detail which projects we're going to be asking for help and describe what we'll need from them. 2 of our projects were selected, and so Michaela will be helping both with the surveys for the Statement of Community District Needs, as well as a Bushwick homeowners list. So we're covering the entire neighborhood. We broke it down by zip code, and we're going through public information. So both a combination of the city planning's records, Department of Building records, to see who owns what in the neighborhood. And then we'll be doing a report to describe the breakdown. We all know Bushwick has changed a lot in terms of home ownership. We want to make sure that we have tangible data to share for ourselves, for us to know, but as well as to share with our elected officials, with the community, so we can be better prepared to address some of the challenges and the issues that come our way. We also hope to use that report as a foundation to empower local homeowners, in particular small homeowners who have a lot of the similar issues, but may not be speaking to each other. And so perhaps this will be a way for there to be some type of homeowners association specifically for Bushwick that will allow for folks to interchange and share information and hopefully be better connected to resources that are available. And on Friday, October 22nd, I had a call with Lacey Tauber, who is a consultant. Some of you may remember her from when she worked for Councilmember Reynosa's office. This time, Lacey was helping as an independent consultant with the Future of Community Boards draft report. Some of you may remember that I've mentioned this throughout the past couple of years. I'm very excited to say that after meeting the past 2 months with the working group that includes boards from all over the city, we were able to finalize the draft report, and we are now in the process of wrapping up the process for this entire endeavor. And I'm looking forward to sharing that report sometime in early December for everyone to take a look at all of our work. And we also had a meeting on Star Street the same day with some of the local liquor license establishments. We were able to have a discussion about some of the shared issues, mostly the 70+ noise complaints. We were able to come to an agreement where everyone was in consensus that there will be no amplified sound outside. No amplified sound outside, and it won't, any music that is happening, everything will wrap up by 11 p.m. If they would like to do things inside, they're more than welcome to, but just in terms of being mindful for their neighbors and the fact that it is a very dense area, we wanted to make sure that we're being respectful of everyone. So both neighboring establishments and of course the residents on that block. And moving us along, on Tuesday, October 26th, I had a conversation with Gaby Contreras, a CUNY student journalist, regarding the MTA elevated structure and concerns about lead paint. We have gotten emails and we've had discussions in the past regarding the elevated structure. It's part of the reason why we had the MTA here this evening. We have received confirmation from them, and as well as local business owners who have reached out to the MTA to FOIL request the information, have received specific data from them that explains what exactly is happening and why it's happening on its timeline. We recently, because of these concerns regarding lead paint in the structure, which folks know that most paint that's dated, right, that's been on there for years, decades, is likely going to have lead in it. However, those levels, we were told, didn't warrant emergency attention. We're keeping an eye on this. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of any potential hazards in the neighborhood. But to date, we haven't been made aware by the MTA or any other local environmental protection agency that there are concerns that should trigger a community notice. On Thursday, October 28th, I was a part of a sustainable rate structure analysis advisory group meeting. This is specifically for water in the city. So the DEP right now, in partnership with other consulting agencies, is looking to revise how they charge for water. They broke it down into 3 separate categories. You have your stormwater, you have your sewer, the sewer, and then you also have, I believe, there's one other category that they're analyzing in order to determine how they will be charging moving forward for water, or how they may change the cost. I believe the third one is regarding the environment and any impacts that we may see. We know the storms that we've had in the past 2 months have taken a toll, in particular on certain parts of Bushwick, and we want to be as prepared as possible for that. We will absolutely keep you posted. And on Friday, November 5th, as Mr. Camacho mentioned, we met with the Coalition for Hispanic Family Services, the leadership, so their executive director, Denise Rosario, as well as the director for the Bushwick Community Partnership, Cynthia Peña Ortiz, and then also John Stanesco, who is the director of the Hope Gardens Community Center, as well as 2 of their other centers, both between Bushwick and Williamsburg. It was a great conversation. We wanted to hear really about how organizations were impacted by COVID, how they're recovering now, and then also get a better understanding of some of the shared needs. So we at the community board are always trying to connect folks to services. They provide services, and we were able to come to a great conclusion where we are now going to open up the district service cabinet meeting that Mr. Camacho mentioned. It's always, all meetings are public, but we want to make sure that there is emphasis around which meetings folks should attend, just to make sure. It's always helpful when you have a better idea. We know there's been a lot of turnover, a lot of changes in Bushwick, and some folks might not be familiar with the resources and even the role that the board plays. So we'll continue to provide that information and connect folks to those meetings. And on Monday, November 8th, there were 2 meetings that I was a part of. One was the Brooklyn Community Board's Audit Exit Conference. This meeting, we went through each section of the preliminary report that is only made available to the boards as they're given an opportunity to respond to some of the initial findings. I was able to communicate with the audit team to make sure that we're submitting everything that we possibly can to demonstrate that the board has tried to the best of our ability to comply with our charter mandate, to hold meetings, to allow for public comment, and of course, to make sure that we're spreading the information about what we do and the meetings that we host in the community. More information should be made available within the coming months. I believe their final report is due in December. And the same day, I had a conversation with Afia Frimpong from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. This was an introduction, as she will be the new community liaison serving Bushwick from the agency. And lastly, well, I'll summarize the last 3. On Friday, November 12th, I had a meeting with our building manager. So for folks that have visited us, you know we're at 1420 Bushwick Avenue. That is between Moffett and Chauncey Street. This year, we were renewing our lease, and as part of that, we were able to negotiate some improvements for the board's office. So I look forward to welcoming everyone in the future to a freshly painted office, which will be taken care of within the next couple of months. And yesterday, Tuesday, November 16th, I attended the Bushwick Community Partnership meeting. I was invited to speak on the Statement of Community District Needs surveys. So I provided all of the folks in attendance, usually a combination of agency representatives, community-based organizations, some teachers and administrators from schools, with a little bit more about what the community board does and why the Statement of District Needs surveys are so important. I was very happy to get some feedback from folks about how they serve and connect with hard to reach members of the community. And I also was very happy that folks volunteered to assist in making sure that we're able to get as robust feedback as possible. And lastly, same day yesterday, I had a conversation with Amy Lemich from Netflix. Very excited to share that Netflix will be joining the Arts, Culture, Technology Committee meeting, which is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. to discuss a little bit about their new studio. I was able to clarify that their studio is technically in Williamsburg and not in Bushwick, which they did not realize, but they're going to double check the map, and they are happy to join us tomorrow to share more information. And that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Celeste, may I
Yes.
just want to give a point of order in regards to the survey. That's why every time I ask if there are any comments, concerns, or issues to the body at large that's on this meeting, because we need to get feedback from you guys, especially the outside, not the people on the board, the outside people, to make sure, because sometimes they may not, now with the Zoom, it may not be on the report that I'm constantly saying, does anyone have any concerns, any issue? Is there anything that people want to address from the outside? So I want to get info, and no one gives any info, so it makes it sound like we're not opening it up to the people. But that's why I always say, is anyone from the outside have any concerns or issues, please bring them up at this time, so like that we can have a report or something saying that we're doing our due diligence in regards to opening, in regards to the open law meeting, and allowing people to speak, because that's part of our report. So I just wanted to address that. And another thing in regards to Hope Garden, they have the community center there. I'm gonna link them with the owner, because one person don't know one person. So I'm gonna try to get them linked to find out. Just because you're a landlord doesn't mean that you can't find out who your tenants are. So I'm gonna link them together with management, for they can know who they are and they can know who the boss is, because they've been there a while and they haven't connected each other. So eventually, since I'm working with Hope Garden and the management crew, I'm gonna set up a meeting with the Coalition for Hispanic Society and the new management, like that. If they may have issues, they can address it themselves in regards to the center at 422 Central. Thank you, Celeste.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. And I do want to reiterate, just so folks have an understanding of what we're being requested to document and share with the Controller's Office, who's conducting the audit. They wanted to see proof, because they attended some of our meetings. The one in particular for seeing if the public was able to participate was in September of 2020. We had a census 2020 presentation. There wasn't much verbally that was expressed, but I did share that because we're in a webinar format, we encourage folks to use the chat. So I had to send the chat transcript to show that there was discussion in the chat and we were able to address those questions. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and we'll move on. And our next agenda item, I believe, is our committee reports. And we're going to get started with our Economic Development and Permits and Licenses Committee. Desmond, did you want to summarize your portion?
Yeah, so basically DDC is coming in to start a mentoring program, because MWBs continue to be underutilized compared to non-MWBs in contracting. New York City Senate bill and Assembly bill authorized DDC to create this mentoring program modeled after MTA Small Business Mentoring Program. I voiced some concerns, especially since DDC already has like an F with African Americans, F with women-owned businesses, and a C with Asian Americans, and a C with Hispanics when it comes down to contract utilization. DDC clarified that the Comptroller's report and the disparity study mentioned in the presentation are separate. Disparity study is an evaluation of utilization of MWBE companies, and the Comptroller's report is the evaluation of each agency, which I take issue with. DDC is working to improve specifically within the construction sector as the new program launches, which is November 15th. NYC Executive Order 59 directs all NY agencies to focus on expanding contracting pools and opportunities for MWBEs. District manager requested to maintain an open line of communication relating to updates and assistance if needed. So the issue is that I feel is that it's always an agency issue, because the agency sets the standards within the industry. If procurement and contracting was more equitable, then it really wouldn't be an issue. So I think actually creating a mentoring program to kind of, it's helpful in a way, but it really doesn't address the bigger issue. So I think that's kind of where my issue stands, and it will always stand when it comes down to equity inclusion with MWBEs. That's all.
Thank you, Desmond. Any questions about that portion of the meeting? All right. Melissa did let me know she had to hop off to take care of her son. So I will summarize the second portion, the permits and licenses portion. We had, I believe, just 2 liquor license establishments. One was TK Planners LLC at 156 Knickerbocker Avenue. It's a new wine, beer, cider license. It's a Japanese restaurant chain. They've been in business for 15 years and they're looking to open their 3rd restaurant location in Bushwick within 2 weeks. They'll be applying for a temporary liquor license and then the open restaurant program with the Department of Transportation as well. They were made aware that there's no amplified music in outdoor spaces, and they were okay with that. The establishment is 660 square feet, 10 tables, 20 chairs, with the bar seating 7 and 1 bathroom. Tenants residing above and adjacent have signed petition in favor of the business, and their intended sale of alcohol hours, as stated in the committee meeting, are 7 days a week, Sunday through Thursday from 12 to 10 p.m. and Friday through Saturday from 12 to 10:30 p.m. The establishment will comply with no sales of alcohol or liquor after 12 midnight on Sundays. And the establishment has reached out to nonprofits in the community as well as the 83rd Precinct. They are looking to be involved with the community on a larger scale. And again, this is TK Planners LLC at 156 Knickerbocker Avenue. And the second applicant, Michael Robinoff Farm to People, 1100 Flushing Avenue. This is a new liquor, wine, beer, cider. And this, they came to the committee before. The full board has already voted on their liquor license application. However, they had a separate request for 3 21-day licenses. So it's supposed to be 3 one-day licenses. There's a typo. So 3 one-day or temporary licenses, which they've been using as they wait for their full liquor license to come through. Their permanent license. They have not heard back yet. They've obtained a letter of recommendation from the A3 precinct, and they're requesting the same support from CB4. And so far, they've been issued up to 4 for this year. They needed 3 additional just to close out the year. And then a community refrigerator and compost drop-off site has been added to their location, and their intended sale of hours will remain the same. No changes made to the hours, and the hours that the board already voted on. And establishment is in compliance with no sale of liquor after midnight on Sundays. And the Permits and Licenses Committee Chairperson, Melissa, clarified the extensions, if granted, must be handled respectfully and responsibly within the framework of suggestions and recommendations made by the board. And they indicated that they understood. There was some mail regarding a notice from NYC and Company. You can read the report for additional information. There was some old business. I did reference the meeting on Star Street with the establishments. And then there was some new business. We are working on a stipulation sheet that liquor license establishment owners will be able to feature next to their license posted in their establishment. The board also received complaints regarding Moonrise at 1329 Willoughby Avenue. The Assemblywoman, Maritza Davila, observed that the business has been operating outside of hours and in conflict with their current method of operation. So we will be following up with both the Assemblywoman. We've already alerted the A3 precinct, and we will be informing the SLA as well. Whenever these things occur, we also reach out directly to the business owner. We know that these are challenging times. However, we want to make sure that it's very clear. The board does not give out liquor licenses. The board committee makes the recommendation. The full board votes on the recommendation. Everything else is up to the state liquor authority. And we will cover recommendations later. That concludes this report. Any questions? I don't know if you want to add anything, Mr. Camacho. You good? Okay.
Good. Very good.
Excellent. So we'll move on now to environmental protection, transportation, sanitation, plus parks and recreation. I know we do have a change in leadership. So Barbara, if you feel more comfortable with me providing an overview, I'm happy to do that.
I just started.
Go ahead. Yeah, if you go for it.
Go for it. What do you need?
Barbara Jackson.
Yes.
I said, make sure they say Barbara Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. This is okay. we had a meeting on October 25th. We had a gentleman, Chris Yandoli is his name, from Director of Capital Projects, and he gave us the update on all the parks that are going to be fixed and whatever. There's the same Maria Hernandez, Ruggs Playground, the Evergreen Park, and again, Maria Hernandez. For more about what's going to be done, you can get a full report from the board. Also, we had, her name is Cunningham from the Department of, Teresa Cunningham from the Department of Sanitation. She gave us an update on 311. She said that we should still continue to call them. And also that the 18-inch violation law is going into, well, it was probably always in effect, but now they're giving tickets. So as a homeowner, many of us are homeowners on the line, that we do have to sweep in front of our house and then 18 inches in the street. Even though it's not our property, we have to do that, and otherwise we will be fined. Also, if there's vehicles that are on the street for a while, you can call 311 and they will come and remove the vehicle. Because I mentioned a vehicle on Gates Avenue and the vehicle is now gone. And also she spoke about illegal dumping, and also if the garbage is not picked up, there is a 24-hour period that they will pick it up. So they didn't pick it up this morning, they have to 11:59 tonight to pick up your garbage. And basically, that was it.
Very good.
You did a wonderful job, Barbara Jackson.
Barbara Jackson.
Learning. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Barbara. And just so everyone knows, Barbara is our new Environmental Protection plus Sanitation Committee Chairperson. So welcome and thank you, Barbara. She's been on the board for a while and has been a part of this committee. We welcome you. Thank you. All right. I did get a request. This is for the board. Jackie from Assemblymember DeLon's office asked if it would be possible for her to make a quick announcement as she has to head out. I leave that up to the board.
It's okay. You got 2 seconds.
Go for it, Jackie. You should be able to unmute.
Hey, everybody. So just really quickly, I wanted to let you all know that the Assembly member is going to be holding a toy drive this year. We will be accepting gifts for all genders, any age, up until December 10th. And we will be accepting them at the office. If you have anything that you need me to pick up, just give me a call and I'll come get it from you. Is that cool? Whatever you need, I'm available.
Thank you.
Do you have a flyer or anything that, Jackie, or is it just verbal?
Yes, I will be posting the flyer on his social media, and I'll be sharing it via email within the week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Did you have something, Barbara Smith?
I said he's collecting toys, but when is he going to give them back out to the community?
Yes, most definitely, of course.
No, when?
When I am still trying to figure out which, I'm going to be giving them to a couple of our daycares in the community. I'm looking at December 15th for the day that we're going to do it. It's not finalized just yet. Right now, we're just collecting the toys.
Okay.
Okay. Once everything is made final, I'll reach back out and let you know when we're going to do it.
Okay, Celeste, I have something in the chat that says I have called 311 in the Department of Sanitation several times about getting more trash cans on Evergreen Avenue on the route of 299, PS 299, but we have not gotten any response.
Yeah, so trash cans, not as straightforward. So we can, of course, chat offline. I'm gonna drop my info in the chat in case you wanna reach out to me tomorrow. Also, just an overview. So all garbage can requests typically require the council to be made aware because council members are the only ones that can allocate for additional garbage cans to be placed. And when the sanitation department looks at locations, they look at the current routes where they collect garbage. So there's a little bit of nuance. I'm not sure exactly why this location wasn't, addressed, but we can certainly look into that and get you a better answer.
Sounds good. It was on the chat. I'm just reading it. Thank you, Celeste.
Thank you. All right.
I'm just giving you a hand. It said thank you. They said thank you.
Excellent. All right. So we'll move on with our next committee report, which is our Health, Human Service, Senior Citizens, Veterans Committee. That's Cheryl Jones. And Cheryl, that might be one of the numbers that I didn't.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I'll figure out who's on with the phone number once I move on to the next report. Our next report is Housing and Land Use. So Anne, if you want to take us away, and I'll do some work behind the scenes.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Celeste. So our meeting for the Housing and Land Use Committee was on October 26th. And the vast majority of what we talked about was the responsible development policy final review. So what we did is we walked through step by step this policy that has been in development for several years. This was actually an initiative suggested by Celeste and then brought to the committee. The committee thought this was a terrific idea, which was basically when developers come to Bushwick, they often ask a lot of the same questions, and we spend a lot of time working through that. So this idea, and it's based on work that has been happening in other community boards, was that we develop internally ourselves a statement of values, a statement of what we believe in for this community, what we want for housing, what we want to see in any potential development. And we have it on a piece of paper and then we can hand it to them. So before they even come here and talk to us, they have already looked at this. This is not a legally binding document. This is not but it is still, we have as a community worked through what we believe in, and we are sharing it with the developers. So we walk through that. I think a lot of you have probably looked at this, participated in these conversations. It is still open as a process. We're still taking suggestions and input about this. And I think we can put it, if maybe Celeste or can we put it into the chat, because I think other people might want to look at this, but this is something, it's pretty straightforward. It's very much like we want as much affordable housing as possible. We want housing unit sizes based on family sizes. We want, I mean, it goes on that way. I don't want to go through the whole thing because it took us almost an hour and a half to do so at the meeting. But I think it's worth looking through. I encourage everybody to, and we also are still welcoming input on that. So that was what we went through, the responsible development policy in a point-by-point way. Also, the Department of City Planning has developed a new online tool about urban design. Urban design is, the streets, the shape of the parks, it's basically all of the public space that we can all share and enjoy. And so this is a tool to help them develop guidelines to shape their policy about that. And it's a citizen input tool, and it's online. So Mr. Camacho raised a really important point that we talked a fair amount about, which is, if this is an online only tool, who's actually going to be participating? Is this only going to be, something for young people who are very online to participate in? Because any tool is only as good as the input, the information that goes into it. Again, yeah, if only 25-year-olds put in, it's going to be a city designed by 25-year-olds. And guess what? This is not that city. We live in a city that many, many, many people, and I think Bushwick is very lucky to have an incredibly rich, so many ages of people living here and contributing to this community. So one of the things that we pushed back on DCP was to make sure that they do active and, outreach in senior centers, in events where people can be participating and sharing their thoughts about what makes good public space and good cities. So this is something that they said that, yes, they would follow up with. We also said that we would commit to sharing information that we knew that they could get input from non-online folks. We would let them know when there were events that they could actually send somebody. So that was another thing. That was more of a public hearing item. They were sharing that information. For anyone who is interested in looking at that tool, and we also need to figure out a better way to share that tool as well. It's goodurbandesign.nyc. So it's basically just those 3 words, no spaces, goodurbandesign.nyc. We can share that. It is in the notes, and please, everybody take a look at it. But I think also we need to hold DCP accountable in terms of making sure that it is a tool widely used by a lot of people or accessible to a lot of people, so that that information gets into DCP and their thought process. The next thing was basically there was committee mail where we looked at there 2 demolition permits were issued, 431 Melrose, which is right at Flushing Avenue, and 138 Schaefer. We don't have a lot more information about either one of those, but we will be watching both of those sites. We are, any demolition permit, most likely it means there's going to be some kind of development, so we will be watching that very closely. The next thing was that the ERAP, which is the rent relief program that came through the pandemic, those applications are now closed. We had Karina Lusada from Communities Resist, who is one of our local liaisons as a community lawyer. And she walked us through that process and said that it was shutting down. And since we had our meeting, those are closed. So anybody who was looking to apply for that is no longer able to. Then under new business, there were a number of questions about the development at Linden and Bushwick, Miss Hansley's old garden site. So basically, Celeste gave us an update that there's not tons of new information, but that there had been no signs posted on site. And so that has now been done. But I mean, it's still an issue of active interest and concern for the community. So we will be following that closely. The next item was 747 Evergreen Avenue, right at Pilling. So the developers were going to come to the Housing and Land Use Committee meeting. They canceled at the last minute, so we don't know what they were going to or were not going to present. They are now scheduled for the next meeting, which is November 30th. And anyone who is interested in this, we absolutely recommend that you come participate. What we do know from our dear friend and fellow board member Joshua Brown is that there have been community meetings over the last couple of years where the Block Association and has been working with the developer to develop some basic guidelines. The community board has not yet heard anything, so we can't necessarily comment on it. We obviously we have a huge amount of respect for the Block Association and the neighbors working with them. We still need information before we can say a single word about this. We don't have that yet, so we're really excited to hear more. It's a big project, and I think there's going to be a lot of questions, and I think that it's going to be a robust conversation, and I hope we can all participate into that. Finally, there was the groundbreaking for the Rheingold, well, actually not finally, a couple more things. The Rheingold Senior Housing. Many of you who have been on the board for several years, many years, know that the Rheingold rezoning was a really difficult moment for the board. I believe it happened in 2011, 2012. And it was a lot of people had a lot of reservations. And one of the reasons we voted for that rezoning was because we believed that we were going to get community benefits. What happened was that 4 to 5 months after the rezoning passed, the landlord sold to, or the owner of the site sold to a different owner who did not then abide by the deal we had worked out. A number of community organizations and activists who were not part of organizations fought really hard after that to make sure that we could get a better deal and that we could get back to a higher level of affordability and more senior housing. And so basically, long story short, I think a lot of people know the story, and anyone who does not know the story, please reach out and we can share it. There was a commitment for senior housing right at Monteith Street. There was groundbreaking the other day that is now happening, and that is led by Los Sures, which is an organization from Williamsburg that we have worked with for many, many, many years. And so that is happening, and we'll share more information on that. The next thing, the last two things was we as a committee have had a lot of trouble recently communicating with the Department of Housing Preservation and Development. So we voted that we would send a letter to them expressing our concerns about communication and their communication with us very specifically, because we, in the form of Celeste, have reached out to them and they have not necessarily been helpful. So we asked for that. That was sent from the committee. And then finally, our fellow member, Sammy Namir, raised some very concerns, some strong concerns about the housing lottery, how it works, and the real lack of transparency. So what we have decided is to put that on the agenda as a future item about how, especially in a community where there's a lot of development, which is being sent to us as like, we can provide community housing for this community. We need to have a much clearer sense about how the housing lottery works. That is the report.
Thank you, Anne. And just a point of clarification, the groundbreaking is this Friday at 11.
I'm sorry. I thought it was last Friday and I was like, shoot, I'm going to miss it. And
I
so
did too. And they were like, no, it's next Friday. So everything's good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, and in regards to,
Did you say that the time for the groundbreaking?
I didn't say the
11
address.
11
Yes, 11 on Monteith between, what is that, Evergreen and Stanwix, and
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And can I get some clarification in regards to, I know there was a letter in regards to Pilling Street with my signature on it. I know that it was attached to that, but I'm not too sure. I think that was in 2019. I think that was an attendance sheet to indicate the people that were there. It wasn't, just for clarification, it wasn't that anybody signed anything off, because I can't sign anything off without approval from the full board. Hello, whoever's on it, complete. I wanted to make sure because I saw the letter and I saw the paper and it was saying it, and I think that whoever made that letter should have an amendment that says page 1 and 2 to be attached with it, because it looked like it was it is an attendance sheet, and when we sign something, they attach it to a memo saying that we in compliance, that we agree, which that's not the case, you know. So
Right.
I will be going to that meeting, and all the board members that were present when we met, because I did sign an attendance sheet that I'd acknowledge myself there, not a sheet indicating that we approved that, because I can't make that decision. You know, the board has to make that decision. So we need some clarification in regards to some of those signatures that they put in the package with that piece of paper. So I don't know how did that, when I saw it, I saw my name on there. I was a little frantic, and that's in regards to the pilling buildings that they building there. Or maybe Joshua Brown could fill in on some of the incidents, because I really don't, off the top of my head, that was 2019. I know I signed an attendance sheet in saying that I was there, not an attendance sheet saying that I agree to the terms of that paper. So I really don't understand. And I wasn't the chair, I think, at that time neither. So to find out what was it? So if anything.
I would like to just follow up on what Mr. Camacho said. I have also a lot of concerns about this, just because it is presented as an agreement. So, but the community board has never heard one thing about this. We have huge amounts of respect for the immediate neighbors and the neighbors who have been there for years and who have been working through this. We need information. And so that is, I think this is incredibly important. And I think Mr. Camacho raises a very good point.
And you got to get that paper back, because that's going to be public record.
But it doesn't look like a legal paper. It's just
no matter what, it doesn't matter legal or not. It seems like a signature. He has to take it back.
Yeah. So go ahead. You and would you? Okay.
Oh no, I mean, Joshua, is this something you want to? I mean, we can also talk about this tomorrow, but is this something you can share any information about? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you have been involved in the process.
Sure. We were all present. What that is, that was the developer voluntarily signing a paper saying that he was going to agree to the AMI levels that the Pilling Block Association advocated for. So everybody understands it's fully clear that's not a legally binding document. It's just the developer voluntarily saying, hey, as a community partner, I'm going to actively give you this amount of affordable housing. So when they come, it's a good point, one, to hold them accountable to that, because it's in favor of us, and two, to get full clarity as to what the actual plan is, given that that was 2 years ago.
And I would like to add that I think that I was looking closely through those documents today, and it looks like the project is 50% affordable. And the AMI levels, like they're, some of those are good. Some of them are, we would push for more, but 50% affordable. And this is an M2R, which is a manufacturing district to residential. That would require that rezoning. In this situation, I think we would ask for a lot more than just 50% affordability at this point. So I think that I would like to, we both want to respect what the local immediate neighbors care about, but we also want to very importantly stress this is a neighborhood-wide important decision and must be run through the community board, must have the input of, and has to go through that process. And I think, honestly, 2019 and 2021, like we now want to ask for more. So we want to ask for a lot more. I don't think 50% affordability in the last few projects, we've never accepted 50% affordability. We want more than that. Because especially because as we all know, affordability in the affordability is not actually always affordable for Bushwick. So any affordability, we have to look at exactly what the numbers are the AMI numbers and make sure that there is very widespread affordability for this community, especially if we are going to support any kind of rezoning from losing manufacturing capacity, manufacturing land, and turning it into residential.
Just a quick
I
point of
guess
clarification.
so.
Keep in mind, and just to point out with the ULURP, we're solely advisory in that we don't determine.
I understand that. I understand that very well. But I still think you might as well fight it for as much as you can get.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to be careful pushing too hard, because if they pull out and go of another route, they don't need us. So, you know, like we need to push them to make it affordability, but some of these people that's building, they have the money to do whatever. And it's not common courtesy that they come to us, but they come to us because they want that little tax write-off. So you can't push for so hard, because look at over there by Food Bazaar, that's private land. They don't have to come to the board. They could build, they were trying to build a 20-story building on that land over there, you know? So pushing is good, but you really got to look at the whole picture. Because we may get thrown under the bus if you push too hard.
Ms. Smith, you're 100% right. This is a situation where we can push, because they will need a rezoning to do what they want to do. Whereas at the Food Bazaar site, they don't need that. Or in the Linden Street site, they don't need our approval. On this site, they will.
And just now with new politicians coming in January, you got to look at the new ball game that we're going to be playing.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
So just a quick point of clarification on this particular project. The presentation on the 30th is not a certification. It is not starting the ULURP clock. It is informational for them to share with us a revised or an updated project proposal. So anything else that would happen, it'd be really awkward for them to certify right now, just given the upcoming transition. So they will likely wait to certify in the beginning of next year. And then those conversations will be had with the new council members and new administration, et cetera.
Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
And
okay, so let's move it right along, because you're gonna meet anyway.
May I say one more thing, which is, I think one of the reasons we're having this conversation now, and there's a lot of like back and forth about this, is that they have not yet come to us. And I think that's a bit of a problem. They are coming up to us. There's an unofficial meeting tomorrow, and they will be coming to us at the Housing and Land Use Committee on the 30th. And I think that's great. But we want this to be a good project. Like, we're not against good projects. That is 100% what we're saying. We want this to be good. But I think the reason is that there has been a lot of like back and forth, but we haven't actually had any information from them.
Okay, so I guess we'll get, thank you.
We'll move on now to Health, Human Service, Senior Citizens, Veterans. Cheryl?
So hi, board members, Cheryl Jones. So we had a meeting November 10th, and we actually had a faith organization present on healthy eating, and they talked about what they were doing in the schools. They teach healthy eating and food demonstrations in some of the high schools. The board, we also talked about some things that we plan on doing for this year. And so we all agreed that we want to be a little bit more proactive and have some more additional events besides our Bushwick Shape Up that we love. And so we talked about having some virtual summits on healthy eating and mental health. And that's what we're planning on doing for this board year.
Is that it, Cheryl?
Yes. And also, we would like to, we could have some support in recruiting some members, or we have a very small board. And so we could have some additional support on some membership.
Got it.
Yeah. So whoever wants to get on, please get on. Let us know. If not, guess what? We'll be putting people on there. She said it the nice way. I'm going to say it the bad way. I'm sorry. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl. That includes the public.
The board all agreed that we definitely want to do some virtual summits on healthy eating and mental health. And so we're looking forward to those endeavors. And we also will be doing our wonderful Bushwick Shape Up. And this year is going to be bigger and better. It was great last year. And so it was very successful. And so the board is very excited, this committee, to expand and have this event. And I'd like to thank Celeste and Mr. Camacho and Barbara for their support.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job. Everybody leave Ms. Jones alone.
This is very G. I have a question
Leave
for
Ms. Jones alone.
Okay, I have a question for Cheryl. The person that came to present about this food program that they had, I think you said in the schools, are they doing any in our district already, or?
So that's a question that we can follow up. So my only concern, with the presentation, it was a great presentation, but, there is a fee.
Oh, no.
So
Okay, never mind.
We can
All right,
reach
I'm
out,
sorry.
I asked that question, is it no cost for, the community? And the organization does charge a fee for, she's in I think 2 schools, and I believe that they pay her some type of salary. So there is a fee if we were going to ask her to do a presentation for our community members. So that was my only concern.
Okay, because my next question was going to be, had they reached out to the CEC already? 32. But all right, but I'll double check with Celeste on it, and or you, or both of you. That was just a concern that I had. Thank you, Cheryl. Good report.
Thank you. Any other questions? All
right, going once, going
Thank you,
twice.
Cheryl.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on now. Recommendations. We should only have, I believe, 2 recommendations this evening, both of them coming from our Permits and Licenses Committee. I will provide another overview of the specific recommendation the committee made. This is for TK Planners LLC at 156 Knickerbocker Avenue for a new wine, beer, cider license. And the recommendation were the following hours of operation: 7 days a week, Sunday to Thursday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Friday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. No sales of alcohol, liquor after midnight on Sundays, and no amplified music outside. And the second recommendation is regarding Farm to People at 1100 Flushing Avenue. They have already submitted an application for a new liquor, wine, beer, cider license. The board has already voted on that specific recommendation with their hours and with their other stipulations. So no sales of liquor after midnight on Sundays. They confirmed that they will be in compliance. They are simply requesting for this visit to the committee 3 additional 1-day licenses. And I will ask, go ahead.
So if the full board wants to make a blanket vote for both, or would they want to make it a separate?
Yes.
Anyone,
I was going to ask,
wants to make a recommendation?
Yeah. Do we have a motion for a blanket vote?
I make a motion for a blanket vote.
A blanket note on this topic.
Okay. So Anne made the motion. Barbara second. Barbara Smith seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? So moved. And now motion on the recommendations.
I make a recommendation for both Audit to get this letter on the dates that are on there that you have.
Okay, so Mr. Camacho made a motion on Permits and Licenses Committee recommendations. Is there a second?
Second, Jose Guzman.
Okay, second, Jose Guzman. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain,
So-
Andy Martin.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Let me make a note.
I think there's another recommendation on the floor in regards to Ann Guiney's the letter for, is that a recommendation?
So
No.
that was a letter that the Housing and Land Use Committee recommended to send to,
DEP.
It's from the committee, not the board. So it's just
Okay,
coming from
got
the
it.
house.
So
Yes,
I-
there's
All
no.
right.
I think.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I take my back. Thank you.
No problem.
But we
All right.
appreciate your thoroughness.
Yes. Any other recommendations? Going once, going twice?
None.
We'll move on now to our old business. Any old business? Going once, going twice? New business? Any new business?
Barbara.
Yes, Barbara.
Hi,
Cheryl
everyone.
Jones.
So
I'm
Barbara first and then
recommending-
Cheryl.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Smith. I'm also the president of the 83rd Precinct. You know, this year of the turkey giveaways and the toy giveaway, but I want to thank our Assemblywoman, Marissa Davlia. She already gave me 30 turkeys tomorrow. I got to pick them up, at least 20. And our Councilman, Antonio Reynoso, he's giving me some next week. I really appreciate it because this year is very bad with the pandemic and people that got flooded. So really, if you know anyone that needs a turkey, please reach out to me tonight or tomorrow. So far, we have at least 40 people that called in already to the Community Affairs office. And between the Assemblywoman and our Councilman, Antonio, we got enough to serve those. But other people may still give us a donation of turkey, so I'm taking all names. We don't have cash, but if I have to buy turkey on credit, I will get them to make sure people have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you, guys. I'm coming later on for cash and toys.
Thank you.
And
Barbara,
Barbara, whoever has money that wants to give
Have a
anything,
cash app. I'm going to give it to Celeste so she could blast it, the cash app.
I was just gonna say, because at this meeting during the community board, every year that I've been on it, there is a call for, can somebody drop $5, $10, $20 into an envelope for exactly this? And maybe we can do that via Cash App.
But now we have a cash app, and I want to thank our community board for manager. She's writing a check for us. I don't know how much. But she already reached out to say she's writing a check. I thank you so much. And one of our community people, she used to come to our meetings, Ms. Gloria Copper. She donated $100 yesterday.
I'm gonna give you a check too, Barbara, but I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna get you a check.
We can't play handball.
Mine might work, Nutty.
We cannot play no handball and have no check bouncing around.
All right, so we have Cheryl, and I heard some other people
here
with new business. Go ahead, Cheryl.
So Barbara, I was going to bring up the turkeys and the toys, and so you can come in. You gave my message. Thank you, Barbara. So yes, I'll be donating, and and we're hoping to, if you can give $5, $10. I mean, we have a lot of families that.
The cash is going to go. I have to buy turkeys, and whatever cash left over, if we get toys, I'm going to have candy bags to give with a toy. So that's what we're going to use the cash for. We can't have a fundraiser this year to honor people. I'm so sorry. So we're going to do it like this. So, but we're thinking about our Bushwick people. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Or you have my.
I just had a question for Barbara. This is Andrew Choi. I was just wondering, I didn't hear at the beginning, what organization are you speaking on behalf of?
I'm Barbara Smith, the president of the 83rd Precinct Community Council.
83rd Precinct Community Council. Got you. Thank you.
And who was that?
Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, he's a board member?
Barbara.
I am, unfortunately.
Yes, he's a new board member, Barbara.
Oh, hello, honey. You could donate cash, toys, and turkeys.
Yeah,
got you. I got you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Martha.
No, I'm saying, Barbara, you will accept the envelopes at your house? What's going on? Leave it at your house?
Every year you bring it to my house, Martha.
Yeah, so you still, okay, so I'll bring it there. Okay. You can't park. Yeah, I'll bring it there, no problem.
Martha, if not, you bring it to mine and I'll cash it.
Yeah, right. I'm bringing cash. I don't bring checks. I bring cash.
Oh, that's good then. That's
All
even
right.
better.
No problem. No problem. Just wanted to make sure. Okay,
If
perfect.
there's no other new business, you have a lot of jokes tonight. If there's no other new business, we'll move on.
You know where Barbara lives? So they can drop it to her house?
We'll send information to the board, and then we'll put the Cash App out to the public, because the Cash App is public. So, but yeah, we'll send information to the board. I mean, we'll make sure that everyone else has access to the Cash App. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. No other new business? Going once, going twice? We'll now move on to our announcements. A minute and a half, please. I'll go through the same list of elected official reps that we started with. If anyone else has an announcement, please let me know in the chat. Starting with Evelyn, any announcements? All right, we'll come back.
I'm sorry, I was off again. I'm sorry, this has been entertaining. Okay, so I just want to, it's been a learning curve again. A few things having to do with the recent report for this month on the child tax credit. As we all know, the advanced tax credit, 62,000 children, families in our district received a child tax credit this month, for a total of $35 million in tax cuts. That's basically money that went back into these families' pockets, which is awesome. The average payment per household was $417. This historic tax cut is putting money back in the pockets of families. The final payment will be next month, December 15th. And then the remaining half of the advanced tax credit, the families will be able to claim it when they file the taxes next year. So it's the advance payment and over $417 per child in the household this month. Next month will be the same thing. We're looking to expand that in the infrastructure bill that is being worked on now in Washington. I don't have to tell you, you've heard of the news. The infrastructure bill has brought millions of dollars to New York City and into our district. I heard Andy talking about MTA concerns. I'm surprised he didn't see me. He didn't mention that we have been in communication all day about certain stations in our district that really need infrastructure bills. We saw what happened in Bushwick on the streets of Knickerbocker, Wilson. I was out there last week doing a tour of Hope Gardens, some of the units that have been destroyed. And we know that we need to improve the infrastructure, what's under the streets in that neighborhood. And we need to improve the quality of life for those residents. So that is something that we're going to be working on. The Congresswoman is working on as we speak. So the Build Back Better bill is in play now with the president trying to shore up the rest of the votes, and Ms. Pelosi, everyone's doing their effort to lock in the votes. It is the most important framework that stands about $1.75 trillion. And it is really important because it is the budget that has a lot of important funding for everyday living in our district. One of the key things is children without Social Security numbers. We're looking to make sure that they are also eligible for the child tax credit. Right now, if you have a child that has a TIN number, that family, they could be working with a TIN, but because it's not an SS number, that family would not be eligible for any tax credit. That is something that we are looking to correct and make sure that families, all children are counted and are eligible for a tax credit. So that's one of the key things for us. And in the buyback bill, of course, we know it's universal and free preschool, affordable housing funding. I mean, there's a host of things. We'll share it with you by email. Something that's happening in January, the COLA, the cost of living increase. Because of that, the cost of living will be adjusted. It will be the biggest adjustment in decades. It's going to go up about 5.9%. This will be the biggest COLA increase since 1982. And the reason behind it is because the pandemic has caused a lot of consumer prices to spike, energy prices to spike, water, food, housing. I mean, you know what's gone up, so that's going up. And then 8 million disabled will also see SSI increased in 2022. But given that, there's also going to be an increase in the Medicare. The CMS has declared an increase of 5.9% towards the Medicare Part B. So we're going to see an increase from those that pay Medicare Part A and Part B. The increase will be from $148 to about $170. But this increase will be covered because you'll be able to pay for this increase because of the COLA increase, as I stated, due through the SSA. So there's a lot of things happening in Washington that are going to impact us positively in the district. And this is something that the Congresswoman continues to advocate for. And so we'll continue to keep you updated in the weeks ahead. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz.
Thank you.
And just a quick question that's in the chat. I want to make sure it's addressed. Can we bring toys to the 83rd precinct directly? I believe that's for Barbara.
No.
Okay.
Ms. Barbara, we're gonna get you some turkeys, but we won't have anything available till Monday.
Who's that, Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Council, Congressperson, Representative.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know too, because I got some starving people here too.
Okay, sweetie.
Camacho.
All right. Next we have, I'm sorry, Andy, you have a question? Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Andy, then Annette.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the Congresswoman's representative, Ms. Cruz, for her office reaching back out in regards to ensuring that faith-based organizations have an opportunity to provide the universal pre-K. For some reason, it's not something that's being included in the Build Back Better program, but as someone who has benefited from those types of programs as a child, I think it's important that we also include faith-based programs in the universal pre-K. Thank you.
Annette?
Hi, Evelyn. Can you send us some information on that Medicare increase? Because there are a lot of seniors who don't understand it, and it's coming at us pretty quick from different directions. So
I will do that. I will send you the CMS report, and I think it'll be helpful, and it'll be a wash for many of us, okay? Because the COLA is going to increase, so you'll be able to cover, you'll have about $30, $35 left with the increase. So I will share that with you, absolutely.
Thank you.
Evelyn Cruz, this is Martha Brown, but I also read that our Medicare premiums are going to be increased.
This is what I just shared. It's going to be increased from 148 to like 172. It's about a $29 increase. But
coming out of our Social Security check.
That is correct. That is correct. But then
so
again,
where's the bargain? Where's the bargain? Where is the bargain that our payments are going to be increased to almost $175?
Correct.
And we're getting a cost of living, but we're still going to be poor. It's not to be cost effective. Anyway, that's for me. I don't know about anybody else.
Not according to me,
I
but
don't
according
see where
to
the
the
bargain
Economist.
is.
Okay, I will send you the info. According to the Economist, it's going to almost be a fair wash for many constituents. Those that are on fixed income and those that are on Social Security, it will almost be a wash for millions. But I will be happy to share that with Celeste, and then she can circulate that information. Okay, I just wanted to give you an advance announcement because it was just announced this week, and everyone is getting that notification. As we know, everything has gone up, but this also will create a reserve because we have over 800,000 people on a wait list to get Medicaid assistance and for home care assistance. So this is kind of creating a cushion to also help those to become eligible. But it's a long explanation, but I'll be happy to share that with Celeste, okay?
Yes, share with Celeste. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Flowers, thank you.
We'll move on to Jonathan, if you're still there. Jonathan, any updates? All right. Next I have Michael. You're still there? All right. Let's see who's still here. Marcus, are you there?
Marcus is always here.
Oh, yeah. I know that. Oh man.
I'm sorry, Michael just put in the chat as well, but
yeah, I saw it, and I'm gonna see if he's got bounced off. Any updates, Marcus? No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay. So just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone in advance. Understand if you want to go on our website, brooklyn-usa.org, you can see all the events that we're having, the virtual events. We're still trying to make sure that everyone is staying safe. And if anybody needs me, again, you can call me at 718-802-3909. It forwards to my cell phone, so no matter where I am, you will get me.
I'm still asking you, Marcus.
Where you at?
You're still asking me a lot of questions. I'm not answering them, Camacho, not answering.
Yeah. So I was able to put Michael back, and I believe we also have Councilmember-elect Nurse, if I'm not mistaken, if either of you would like to speak.
Nobody's there?
I'll let my boss talk. Go ahead, Sandy, if you're there.
Yeah, let me see. There's some, it looks like folks are bouncing on and off. So, okay, we can circle back. Is Mamadou still there from the mayor's office? Mamadou? Any announcements?
Yes, I'm still here. Hi, can folks hear me?
Yes.
Hey, hi everyone. No immediate announcements, but just wanted to just thank everyone in advance for anyone who attended yesterday's Brooklyn City Hall New Borough Resource Fair, in which the mayor was there, along with Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, along with a number of city agencies at the Madison Boys and Girls Club on Nassau Street. And I also do want to share in the group chat that there is going to be a pickup for folks that want to pick up sandbags in anticipation or with the continuation of hurricane season. There isn't anything in Brooklyn, but there is one in South Queens, and then there's one also in Lower Manhattan. So I'm going to share that in the chat box. It's a limit of 20 per household. Please wear a mask at pickup. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
Why none in Brooklyn?
I don't have an answer for right now, but yeah.
You need to get an answer to us. We need an answer. We don't like taking short notes. We need an answer.
I will follow up and get an answer. But okay.
And it's got to be in Bushwick. So because Brooklyn is one of the 5 biggest boroughs, because Brooklyn can be anyone, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights. Yeah. We want Bushwick, because you see we just had a flood over here.
Yeah.
And my basement got flooded.
All right, I'll share that information, and everyone, I'll put my contact info once again to follow up. Thank you so much.
Or dump some sand over here. We'll pick it up. We know how to get it here. You got a lot of lots here. You can dump some. We'll pick up.
All right, Camacho, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Maybe Marcus knows what's going to happen from the mayor's office.
Oh, that might.
Yeah, Mark. Turkey. Please tell them that Bishop needs turkey.
So a time check. So I want to go back to Michael. I believe, Sandy, I know there are multiple meetings happening tonight, but Michael, if you have anything, now's the time.
Yes, of course. And, forgive Sandy, she's in the CB5's meeting currently. So a few things that we can say, in this transition, we'll be facilitating a few town halls. The dates are still pending, but as soon as we get them concrete on the calendar, I will make sure that they're relayed to you. In addition, we'll be doing some tours. As you know, a lot of between like the RAD Pact agreements. So we'll be doing some tours of NYCHA buildings in the district. And also, as some of you may know, that the tax lien sale, the final date to file a hardship letter due to COVID will be December 15th. So please share with your networks if you have any questions and however we could support. I'll drop my contact information and Sandy's in the chat. We want to make sure that we get those letters in sooner than later, since there's less than a month, so to avoid somebody mistakenly or potentially getting on that list. So I'll put my information in the chat. Thanks.
Yeah, make sure that Sandy Nuts get on there with us. Forget about the other ones and get on there with us first. Then you can go over there.
Until I need turkey.
Yeah.
If there are no other announcements, I don't see anything in the chat. This is the last call for announcements. Board members, everyone, public. All right. Going once, going twice. We'll now move on with our second roll call. Please be ready, everyone. Frank Zimmerman.
Present.
Oldhoff Wright, Carlotta Williams,
Here.
Jerry Valentine,
Present.
Leo Teneo,
Yeah, but you know what?
Annette
Present.
Spellin. Thank you.
Good night.
Dustin Sonborn,
Here, good night.
Barbara Smith,
Good night.
Raul Rubio,
Present. Good night.
Gladys Julia,
Present, good night.
Asire Polite,
Present.
Uma Novoa, Kyle O'Rourke,
Here.
got you, Sammy Navir Olivares, Desmond Monroe,
Here, Sammy.
Present.
got you both. Imani Mitchell,
Present.
Mary McClellan, I think she was having technical issues. Andy
Provided.
Marte, Luisa
Here, happy
Jose,
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Luisa Jose, Virgie Jones,
For these compared to like the
Cheryl
public, you
Jones,
know?
Present.
Kristen
Good.
Jock, Kristen Jock, Barbara
Present.
Jackson, got you. Barbara Jackson,
Here, still here.
Nisha Honeygan,
Present.
Jared Hicks, Hadia Harrison, Jose Guzman,
Present and happy Thanksgiving.
Ann Guiney,
Present and good night.
Christopher Graham, Igari Gomez,
Present.
Freddie Fowler,
Present and good night.
James Fitzgerald,
Present, good night.
Carlos Feliciano, Daniela Davi,
Present.
Andrew Choi,
Present.
Felix Ceballos,
Present. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Cartier Caphart,
Present, good night.
Robert Camacho,
Present and good night and have a healthy and wonderful Thanksgiving. Love you all.
Raul Brown,
Love you too.
Martha Brown,
Present and good night and happy Thanksgiving. Love you all as well. Goodbye.
Joshua Brown,
Present, good night.
Joanna Bennett, Reverend Yates. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Yes.
Celeste, did you say my name, Celeste?
You called
Oh, I
Cheryl
had you marked.
Jones.
I'm sorry, I'm getting multiple messages at the same time. I can only do one. Eliseo, I had you marked
I
as excused because I
I-
thought you were at the hospital. And then Cheryl, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I didn't hear you call Cheryl Jones.
I called you both. Everybody kept saying their names later. So, but I got you marked present, Cheryl.
Celeste,
I'll make a
you got me in the meeting.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Celeste,
Motion to adjourn, please. Someone make a motion.
Celeste,
Barbara,
Celeste,
Choi,
do you
motion
hear
to
me?
adjourn.
Oh my God.
Celeste, do you hear me?
Yes, Eliseo, I hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm here. I was here the whole thing. Have a good
Just
night.
motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Raul Rubio, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Zero seconds the motion. You're all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
Thanksgiving,
Have a good
And
night.